I presented evidence to you that the Apostle Peter would have been on the spectrum? Of course, this is a theory, because the Bible doesn't say the words the Apostle Peter was on the spectrum. However, when you look at his behavior patterns through the lens of the spectrum, you'll understand what I mean. Let me give you stuff that I took notes on. Peter had intense emotional responses, rigid patterns of behavior, and hyper-focus on his devotion to Jesus, which is good. When it's the view through the lens of ASD or autism, traits that he displayed in the Bible are consistent with spectrum traits. For example, being on the spectrum, you have traits like thinking in black and white, emotional intensity, deep loyalty and hyperfixation on topics, specific interests or people. Ask me how I know. I'm on the spectrum. Peter reflected this throughout his life. For example, when you go to John 18, what does Peter do? He does something that the other disciples or the other apostles didn't do. He acted impulsively through his deep loyalty and cut off Malchus's ear. That was an impulsive move, which led to Jesus, and I'm putting out a video on it tomorrow, having to destroy the evidence by putting Malchus' ear back on. Then a short time later, he goes through an opposite extreme where now he denies Jesus 3 times. This didn't have to do with him not liking Jesus. In fact, I believe that he was trying to manage emotional extremes. He had an impulsive emotional breakdown. Those of you with autism or those of you on the spectrum, you know what I'm talking about. Also have Peter's bold declarations, which brings me to another extreme in Matthew 16. Peter confesses Jesus is Messiah. Soon after, he seems to rebuke Jesus. You won't die. Paraphrasing. What does Jesus say to him? Get behind me, Satan. Does the enemy use that time to speak through Peter? Those of you on the spectrum know that it can be pretty hard adapting to certain social situations. Sometimes we can say stuff that don't need to be said. Sometimes my wife has to tell me, Ty, you don't need to be saying that. I don't sometimes comprehend the extreme nature of some things I say. Peter impulsively wanted to walk on water, and God honored it. Then just as fast as he impulsively walked on water, God used it and his faith was there. The impulsive nature caused him to panic and sink. It was the loudest saying, I will never deny you, Lord. It was Peter. Intense loyalty in black and white thinking. You remember when on the Mount of Transfiguration, when the Lord, in fact, let's go to it. This was funny. The Transfiguration, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, right? They saw Jesus be transformed. And out of all them, look who's talking, Peter. Lord, it's wonderful for us to be here. If you want, I can make 3 shelters as memorials. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. But God interrupted him. And it says, but even as he spoke, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice in the cloud said, this is my son, brings me great joy. Listen to him. Essentially, God told Peter to shut up and listen and follow for more. The deadline is a little over a week. We're doing a 3-day class teaching what the Bible says about sex, a deep dive in the Song of Solomon, why God made it, and more. Click the link in my story or bio to join.